Fans speak where the plan runs deep. The team grind hard, don't eat, don't sleep. From best ball dreams to DFS streaks, they help you print money every single week. Fans speak. No cap, no gimmicks, we breaking limits. NFL bets, yeah, we live this business. Meg and Steve, that OG vision. Draft room killers on a lifelong mission. More stress to the Sunday spread. Fan speaks, that voice that's inside your head. Best ball, DFS, NFL bets. They built it brick by brick, no regrets. Fan speak team, printing money since day one. Fan speak, forever.
Welcome back to another lunchtime best ball episode. We are going to talk, well, also draft a war room, but talk different, different strategies for different contests. How I think they should be played. Obviously, we'll see what contests are. As we know, Underdog is changing some things for once we get into the regular season. Sounds like the puppy for sure is going to change. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some other tweaks on other tournaments as well. So I'm very much looking forward to that. But I do think we can look at what they have out on the market now and just see that there are some differences here. And the big board is the 3 of 12, 1 of 10, 1 of 10. The little board, 2 of 12, 1 of 10, 1 of 10. This also, in addition to the 50 max, this also probably is not helping its advance rate or its fill rate. Last year was 3 of 12, and then the second little board was 4 of 12, and then turned into like 6 of 12 with how it filled. The bigger board, we have 4 of 12, 2 of 8, 1 of 8, 23 seed final. And then the War Room 2, which just launched yesterday, they already filled one War Room, 2 of 12, 2 of 10, 2 of 10. Generally, I do think having a contest pre-draft like this, yes, you get the 20 rounds, but I do think it is nice to get the 3 of 12 like we did with the big board and the bigger board being 4 of 12. I do think that is beneficial. I do think that allows us to take a little bit more risk on some guys. So for something like the War Room, little board 2, I would be less likely to do, more risky players, especially earlier on, more boom bust players. Especially something War Room 2 that only has a 30 seed final. Like, we're not needing to draft the nuts. We don't need that unique piece or, the guys who, yes, have a 40-point ceiling one week, but, might not crack 10 points the majority of the weeks. Like, the consistent every week in, week out scorers are probably going to be better options for you, both to advance and even into the playoffs, because the 2 of 10, it also means, you don't have to have the nuts each week. I mean, you need to have a very good team. And some pods are still going to be easier and harder than others. But it does help a little bit with the pod luck. Having 2 outs, even out of 10, like I generally prefer 2 of 10 in the second and third rounds versus 1 of 5. It's the same odds, but and even if it was like 2 of 12 versus 1 of 6, I like having 2 shots at it just in case you run into a wagon of a team. I think that's something I would generally prefer. And for that reason, I am going to care more about projectability, higher floor, higher floor, moderate ceiling, I think works better for those kind of builds. And that will be the case continuing into the regular best ball season. The contests that are like this with better, stronger advance rates, it's even more about getting there. Something like the BBM where the playoff weeks, the last couple of years have been 1 of 13, 1 of 16. Yeah, you're going to really need, having a unique piece can be beneficial. Having, just somebody who just goes off each week is so key. But here, for these other contests, I think getting there is so much more important. In general, I think getting there is, I always say you got to walk before you can run. And I consider the regular season a pretty long walk. That is 14 weeks. We have to deal with buys. We have to deal with so much uncertainty because, yes, we're going to eventually know the schedule and we can project the 3 playoff games. And let's say you're right on 2 of the 3, this team has an easy playoff schedule because these 3 defenses are easy, and you're right on 2 of the 3. it's easy to be right on 2 of the 3. It's much harder to look at a full schedule and be like, oh, this is going to be just a cake schedule. I think some people would have thought playing New England last year would have been an easy thing. And, New England's defense was great. It was very good. Like, I know people talked about their easy schedule, and yes, I think they beat up on that, but even tougher teams, like that first game against the Bills, they shut them down pretty well. Other playoff teams or playoff caliber teams, they played them pretty tough throughout. So, we can't always predict that so early for a full season. And that's why building to a regular season, I still consider it to be the most important thing. Yes, all the money's in week 17, but none of the money is for the people who don't make it. Like, that is a guarantee. So let me get into chat, and then we will get into a little bit more. Best way to draft different best ball contests is to select Game against Gabu and all of them unless you want another Meg intervention. Yes, unfortunately, that is true, Jeff. We got Meg in here. Mike getting better. Meg getting better. We got Peanut Punch, GM, Frog Clone, GM. The new draft room changes on UD suck. The whole likely this is like your next pick. I'm not a fan of that. We'll see if that, if they keep that, maybe they're just trying it out. Or maybe they'll make it less noticeable, kind of like an in between. We got Fantasy Football Garage in here, the Candyman. Obviously, check out his channel. He's been crushing in the golf streets as well. Josh Allen or Drake May. Yes, apparently this was the big thing on Toxic Tower last night. I haven't gotten a chance to watch it yet, but they did do a nice little raid over here. So that was fun. No, I noticed the raid. We got GAB for life in here. What's up, Best Ball fam? Great morning, great afternoon, and yes, TGIF Friday. Absolutely. Al Boogie checking in. The answer is Kirk. We got Hartman checking in. So thanks everyone for jumping in. We're going to get into a war room. Definitely want to do 2 drafts today. I could do a war room and a big board, 2 war rooms. I've done one slow. I did one last night with Meg. Happy to do both today. It's filled. It literally launched yesterday at 1 because I just jumped in and GAB was like, oh, there's a new contest in there. So 20% filled in the first day. Do I think it's going to be 20% each of these next couple of days? Probably not, because I'm sure there's some people who've already maxed it. And, if I do my 2 drafts today, I'll be maxed. So, but I kind of think this probably, I've said big board, which let's check that out, is now at 90, just cracked 90%. Yesterday it was a little, like 88.5, 88.4. So it, it's like at least 1.5% from yesterday. I think it could start to fill up a little faster because I've been holding back some entries. I'm going to probably have to do a lot of these slow. So I think we could get a little push in the fill rate the next couple of days. I'm still guessing late Tuesday or Wednesday is the most likely day the big board fills. I think War Room is probably going to be right before it or right there at the same time. So yeah, let's, and hopefully that means maybe they release something else. If both of those fill, I'd be really shocked if they just try and go in with just the little board the rest of the way, knowing most people are maxed or like me have 1 entry left. All right, let's get into a war room. I'm going to count it down, and we are going to enter a war room 2, entering in 10 seconds. Entering in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, enter. So waiting on 3 more people. When the NBA's regular season is done, 20 of the 30 teams are still playing. That's not an underdog advance rate. think War Room 2 will fill by this weekend due to the holiday. Yeah, it's just with only being 4 max, like people are just going to hit that max. So yeah, I think there's a lot of excitement now, but I don't know, and it still could. It's still, there's obviously enough people drafting that it's going to fill, and whether it fills, Sunday night at the earliest, sometime Monday. My guess is it's more like Monday night, late or early Tuesday morning would be when I'd guess. Like I said, 20% the first day, and I think we could see like 20% in the second day. Would, if you were checked tomorrow, Saturday around 1, we could see another 20, maybe even 25%. But then I think it starts to slow down because people are just obviously, whether they've entered slow or fast, are going to hit that 4 max. I'm going to do that today, whether it's on stream with you guys or, I'll probably enter my other one slow if I only do one today. And so I think more likely Monday, but if there's a big rush, there's obviously enough people out there to do it. It only takes, a little over 1,000 people. It's like 1,100 people would have to max. So it's not too much of an ask. How do you view the big board versus post-draft contest for bankroll? Might be a little too broad of a question. Yeah, so I mean, I think the big board is actually a pretty good contest overall. One, it's $10, so I kind of view everything versus the BBM lens. Yeah, both pre and post-draft, and so for 2 BBMs, you can do 5 big boards, and the big boards have better advance rate. Yes, BBMs have a higher total final prize, but big boards, obviously, it's easier out of the first round. It's easier out of rounds 2 and 3, unless that drastically changes this year. And it's easier in the finals. The finals are smaller, a little smaller as well. Not by much. I think that's pretty close. And then, yes, the top prize, there's a difference in a 0. I get that, but I would rather have more contests, with better advance rates than tie up more money in one contest with just the worst advance rates. And I kind of view it the same. Once we get to the BBM season, I said it before, like I kind of figured it out, and this was, they released a couple things at the end, and this does not include any of the marathon sprints, which you can also use the same math there. Like, a sprint and a puppy are worth the same as a BBM. But weekly winners or any of that. But essentially, if you took, with about a week or 2 to go, and again, I know they released a few more things at the end, and this doesn't include Superflex, but if you take everything everything non-puppy lower than $20, you could have entered everything non-puppy lower than $20, and that includes I believe that included, this was a while ago, obviously, I believe that it did include the Badge Bros contest. It definitely at least could include the MMG. So maybe it wasn't the Badge Bros, but definitely include the MMG, and you could essentially entered everything lower than $20 for what it would cost to have half your BBM entries. And then at the same time, you could have everything $20 and up, so Pitbull on up, for roughly the same cost. So you could have entered 0 BBMs and also this, again, 0 puppies, but you could have entered every other contest, whether it's the higher dollar, and that did not include like the $500 big dog. That was its own unique thing. So I'm sitting here at the 4 spot. We got JT in at the 1, Ragnar in at the 2, Young Mule in the 5, King QC in the 6, Peanut Punch in the 11. So should be a good draft. And so you essentially could have avoided all BBM. For the cost of all BBM entries, you could have entered every single other contest. All the German Shepherds, all the pugs, the poodles, the pit bulls, the huskies, the Dalmatians, the Chow Chows, all those other ones, all combined, it was just over, and then all the lower ones as well. All combined, it was just over what it would have cost to enter, to max enter BBM. So I do think that's an interesting way to look at it. For me, last year I did 80 BBMs. I had, 2,000 total drafts. So, the BBM was just a small portion of that. And hold on, let me take JT here. So I do recommend for, it's all about what your bankroll can tolerate, of course. But I do recommend being more cautious with what you're entering. If you do have some concerns, like I know there are some people like Bruni, who, DGen, who works for us, DGen Dads, and he loves these kind of contests, the big board, the BBMs. Personally, like that $25 Rottweiler, that was essentially very similar to this War Room. I think that's a better contest. Yeah, it's a 20K or 25, or that might have been a 25K max prize, but the advance rates are just so much better. And if I'm, putting out $100, I just have such a better odds of hitting a big prize, or a 4K or 5K prize. Do I want to do 0 BBMs? No, of course not. But I do think judging it, at the end of the day, I think ROI matters the most. Everyone wants to be like Sam Sherman, but guess what? Sam Sherman didn't come close to max entering. I can't remember, somebody might know, I think he had like 50, maybe 60 entries. It wasn't a ton. And, I just would generally recommend for people, unless you really want to go for it, to, to mix up some things, and whether it's some, essentially combining BBM entries and having some higher dollar, better advance rate ones, or, having a lot more shots on goal with like lower dollar stuff. All right. I'm coming up in 6 picks. Nothing too crazy for the board right now. Let me get back to chat. Let's go. Day drafting, almost as much fun as day drinking. Appreciate that, Ragnar. Do both. Appreciate you being here for a sweet leaf. Peanut Punch. Big board fills by next weekend. At what point in time do you feel was the biggest edge of the draft? After free agency, opening weekend? That's a good question. So I do think I actually think, like our guy, Paul Legion, he entered very early. Like everything was done before free agency, even before combine. He wanted those edges, and he admits like some he was just way right on. Others, like, yeah, it's not going to be the greatest, closing line value. Let's see if I decide what my likely next pick is, depending on what Young Mula does. I'm going to take Henry. Let's go running back start. So I think, I personally think it's good to mix it up, to have some early, because yes, you get those like, Mike Washington in the 210 and stuff like that. And you got some free agents, like before free agency, Romeo Dubs was going in the 140s, but conversely, we're seeing some of that in reverse now. We're seeing, some rookies who are falling, like Boston, guys like Surratt, who I mentioned last night, his workout numbers were much better than people expected. I think there's still a chance he's like a late second, early third round guy. Go Olave here, and I'm going to go back to the board. And some other rookies who've fallen a bit. I mean, now Mendoza's falling, and with some good reasons. It doesn't sound like he's starting all year, but Mid Johnson, Jonah Coleman. I mean, these guys could still end up with good landing spots. They could still end up going ahead of Mike Washington in the draft. It is by no means a guarantee that Washington goes ahead of him. And then even some, Jeremy Bernard continues to be low. So there can still be those. There's the free agents like Diggs. When Diggs started this contest, he was in the 70s. When Debo started this contest, he was like 150. Now they're going in the 150s, 160s. So, I honestly think mixing it up because there's just so much difference depending on what kind of pocket you do, what news is buzzing. And you can be very, I personally am not one to be for me, as long as it continues to make sense. So like people saying, well, I took Jalen Naylor at 230. I'm not going to take him at 170. Well, he can still pay off 170. And it's kind of the same with like Romeo Doubs. Like, yeah, you got Romeo Doubs at 140. Fantastic. He can still pay off 90. He can still pay off 85 in my book. And same with some of these running backs like Rico Dowdle or Kenneth Gainwell, who moved up, J.K. Dobbins, who's moved up considerably. So personally, I think as long as the price continues to make sense, it's worth taking them. I like knowing more information now because do we know everything? Of course not. We don't know the rookies, and we don't know where some guys who might get drafted that could hurt other situations, particularly the whole Jeremiah Love debate. But I'm willing to, for me, I still believe Tony Pollard could have a positive role, kind of whether with the Titans or if he gets traded. So I'm okay taking that dip. JCM, I worry he could get truly nuked. So I'm not as okay taking that dip. So that's what I mean. I'm willing to chase guys up and down the board depending on where they're going. If the news is still positive, or if it still makes sense. If it starts to not make sense, like Jalen Waddle moving up where he is and also having a 30 pick gap between him and Cortland Sutton, who I think it's at best a coin flip of who's wide receiver one on the team in terms of fantasy. I'm gonna be kind of light on him for that reason. So let me take JMO here. Make this kind of more balanced and balance out my exposures a little bit. I like Adams more, but obviously I've quite the bag on Adams so far. I think I will continue to have a bag on Adams. But I want more access to this Detroit offense. So I know that's a long-winded question. I don't know if there's a perfect time. I think you can make a case for all the times. I think the biggest thing is to draft with an understanding of, if you're doing it early, embrace the risk in a way. I wouldn't have wanted to draft a lot of guys early where their landing spots, they're very landing spot dependent. We will go Hendo here. This is where I love Hendo as my third running back with two alphas. Not only can he hit the flex, but in weeks where he has those 5-point weeks, I'll still be producing big time running back scores. So let me get back to chat again. Sorry for the long-winded answer. Steve's talking advanced rates and contest structure in 2026 ASMR we need. Very excited for Connor Griffin debut today. Yeah, Sweet Leafs a Pirates fan. It is Connor Griffin day around the baseball streets. That is exciting. I'm going to try and see if I can watch some of it, because I know it's actually going to be on in my area because I'm playing Baltimore, I believe. But then I saw MLB is going to broadcast as well. Hartman, I'm definitely done maxing BBM. It's been a bankroll killer. Smaller special contests have been much better. Yeah, absolutely. It's just, and we'll see. Maybe they'll change it. I know some people were really against the regular season prize pool. I actually thought that was a good way to help people. Didn't turn out well for me. I only had like one team that was in the top 10,000. At one point, I had like 9 teams in the top 10,000 around mid-season. And I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be nice. It's going to cover my bankroll, my BBM bankroll. And then of course, Scadaboo, Kraft getting injured, a couple other guys falling off. Not good. Sam Sherman had 57 entries. Thanks, Hartman. So are my dingers. Dingers at least have a better advanced structure. And JB saying, yeah, I love the Husky and Chow Chow. Those kind of contests, $40 for the Husky, $50 for the Chow Chow. The Bulldog was $75. Just better. The Chow Chow was the only one that was still 2 of 12, but its advance rates were like, what was it like? It's like 3 of 8 in the second round. It was like ridiculously good. Something really good like that. I can't remember exactly. So I'm coming up here. I'm going to take Tyler Warren. I have a Colts bet. Maybe Daniel Jones can be like my third quarterback on this team. I'll probably avoid Alec Pierce at that point then. I want to get Jordan Tyson back up more, especially now that he's falling. I know he hasn't had his official workout yet. He's supposed to work out, I think, next week. It's either late next week or early the following week. And I still am just such a believer in Tyson. I think he's got the highest upside. I know there's multiple, draft people out who feel that way. And I just think if from a underdog fantasy standpoint, he's the guy that could come into a room and be the one. Like Tate could on a weaker room, but in most cases, Tate's going to be the number 2. Same with Lemon, same with most of these guys. Tyson's the one guy with that upside who really could hit the ground running. And I just think we're dinging him. Like I've said this before, we're kind of double counting the injury. Like the injury already is why he's not, to me, the consensus 1 in this class. And I feel like that's already being baked into his draft projection and things of that nature. But the reality is we only need him for 1 year. This isn't dynasty. We don't need him for, is he going to be the healthiest receiver for the next 10 years? Maybe not. But if he comes in next year and is healthy, he could be a huge win. The Sam Sherman team with getting Kittle late was huge. Yeah, I mean, the craziest thing about that team, he did go 3 quarterback, but I've never actually looked it up. I said I was going to, but I think he's got to have a week where he actually took a quarterback 0, because that week that Andy Dalton played for Bryce Young, Tyler Shuck wasn't playing yet, and I believe Brock Purdy was injured. Maybe that was that 1 week that Brock came back and then he got injured again. I'd have to double check that. But, that's pretty wild to me. But the big thing was getting that, particularly that Purdy team through, because Purdy was absolutely the quarterback you needed for the postseason. He dominated all 3 weeks. And he was able to pair him with Kittle, who had I think a big week 15. And really helped him there. Warren falls. Dowdle goes ahead, which I think is the right call. I maybe would take Warren. Probably need. I think I'd go receiver. Chris Godwin. This could open up another stack. I don't have enough Godwin. So I'm 0-3-4-1 here. Probably coming up here, taking my first quarterback. If he gets to me, I think I will take Goff. If not, I will pivot to somebody else. Mike saying, I see 38 watching, 19 likes. Can we get that number up for the man? Look at him day after day in the draft streets and night after night getting bullied by loved ones. My only issue with the lower dollar stuff is I took 20th in Poodle last year and won 1,000. But if I'm playing these contests, I want money that makes a bigger impact than 1,000 for being top. No, I mean, I do get that. Let me make my pick here. I'm going to go Quorum. I don't have a lot of him, but I like him. I also think he's a good handcuff in general, but he's a good handcuff for a guy like Henderson. And I could have made the same case on Monangai, but I just have a little bit more of him. Henderson's going to have those weeks where he just totally disappears. Quorum is probably not going to have many 20-point games, but he's going to have a bunch of 10 to 15-point games, I feel like, even being the number 2 understudy to Kyren Williams. My guess is he ends up with as many, if not more, 10-point games than TreVeyon Henderson. It's just Henderson can get the home runs. He can get the 20, 25, 30-point games. Quorum's going to give me the 10, 15-point games. I think combined together, it gives me a very strong, flex play to go along with my 2 stud alpha backs. And I look at it like I got 4 receivers I feel really good about. Most weeks, I'm only going to need 3 of these to hit. And, I have, of course, more guys in the mix as well. So pushing quarterback a little bit. Not always fun. Ragnar took when I saw, I queued up Goff, and when I saw that he had taken Laporta, I was like, damn, I'm not getting him back. So good pick, Ragnar. So I get what you're saying, and I think you can also look at it from a standpoint, like I said, you could have maxed it for roughly $1,800, maxed everything low dollar for $1,800, but you could say like, hey, I'm only going to spend $1,000 on the lower end stuff. And so, and really target more the ones where if you do have a nice finish, it can pay off for the whole thing. I get it. Last year I finished 15th in a German Shepherd Superflex, won $500 on that. I definitely get it. But at the same time, it's just your chance to get the 4-figure. And then it's one of those, like, you were close and 1 or 2 more things break your way and you're winning $5K, $10K, $20K. So let's go Tyler Shuck with Olave. I also need a quarterback, so my options are getting more limited. So get my first quarterback. I would have ideally preferred, Baker or Goff. Didn't get a shot at either of them, but we'll figure it out. With 1 tight end, I very well could just go 2. Here, don't have any other stacks. Obviously, Daniel Jones later, not at this pick. I think I might push. I'm going to take Jonah Coleman. I'm going to be done at 5 running backs. Unless some crazy value happens late. I was also considering Rashard White for the same kind of play there. I think this turns into a really, really good running back room. I have a good bag of Malik Willis, and he's generally been falling. Sometimes Darnold falls. I don't have a stack going. He's easy to backstack though, so. But it just didn't feel like I need to push. $20 to $60K players, but my risk tolerance is pretty high. Yeah, I always look at it, and I do think it's good to kind of look at, and this is why I kind of separated in the categories that I did, is the lower dollar money, the what I call lotto money, and that could be changing if the puppy playoff structure is changing. I considered puppies and BBMs combined, and I do like the fact that I can get 5 puppies for a BBM. I didn't max any of the puppies, but of the 4, I had to combine, I don't know, 500 some puppies last year, and I did max the Superflex puppy, but so I kind of put the puppies and BBM in the same category, and then the the higher dollar ones in the same category. And I think if you do that and then kind of look at what you're spending on it, like put them all together, what you're spending on it, ideally you try and come as close to breaking even there in each of those 3 categories. Okay, quarterback. Let's take Daniel Jones. And then, then you have one category where you end up with, really positive ROI, then it can really hit. And you should obviously expect the lottos to be the least likely to succeed. So, yeah, I know and I do think it is dependent on everyone's risk tolerance for sure. What rookie running back is giving you Caleb Johnson vibes? Running back people are high on, but you don't like where he goes. So I think, the tough thing is the Caleb Johnson one. On paper, he got the perfect landing spot. It's tough to know what exactly went wrong there. I think I will take Cam Ward for 3rd quarterback. But on paper, he got a great landing spot. His competition was, Jalen Warren, who's always been a limited back and, still was last year. And then Kenneth Gainwell, who signed for, $1.5 million on a 1-year deal and had the similar skill set of Jalen Warren. So it seemed like Caleb Johnson would have a perfect opportunity, particularly in Arthur Smith's offense. On draft day, they're talking about him as being a feature back, a bell cow, all these workhorse, they kept using terms like workhorse and stuff like that. And then it just didn't materialize. And whether it was he just got in the doghouse or, that fumble or, that stupid play in the kickoff, which was, I don't know why he was ever back there. That was, never really him in college. It just never happened. So honestly, the guy that worries me, the earlier round guy that worries me the most is Mike Washington, because so much of his draft projection right now is simply that he's big and fast. He was in college for 5 years, 3 of those at Buffalo, 1 at New Mexico State, and then this last year at Arkansas. He did have his best year this last year in the SEC at Arkansas. That's a positive. But it also wasn't a dominant year. This wasn't, some elite dominating running back at the college level. And it even wasn't a case where, a couple years ago, James Cook, Georgia had just so many talented backs. It was a split backfield, but James Cook just shined. I wouldn't even call it that. He had a good year, not a great year. And he did it when he's 23. Most of the guys he's going against are 18 to 21. I do think that is a factor. So he did look good at the Senior Bowl. He obviously blew up the combine with his run. but I do worry that he's being drafted for all the wrong reasons. And it could just, be eye-opening when he's now going against, when he's not a couple years older than most of his competition. And most of his competition is just as big, fast, and strong as he is, if not bigger, faster and stronger. So where are we at our wide receiver? Yeah, this took more of a dip than I would have wanted. So we are going to throw more volume at it. I do want to get at least a second tight end soon. Probably should have taken one there with the fall on Juwan Johnson. That was my mistake. I got a little too needy at wide receiver. Hopefully one of these guys come back. So my question would be the one that I think is the riskiest right now. Yeah, I know some people might say Emmett Johnson because he only had one dominant year at Nebraska, but he's younger. His year before was actually pretty solid at Nebraska as the number 2 back. So, and I just think he's got a more well-rounded skill set. Yeah, I get this, but usually it's not $50. Usually it's at least $100. But you should treat every contest with what it is making the finals versus what I invested in this particular contest. Is the way I see it. I like the contest. If you make the finals, you make 500 or more. Agree, and that's why it made sense to max. If you made the finals, you made back the amount it costs the contest. Griffin, 2 hours to his debut. Just so damn hard to make the BBM finals, and that's coming from a former. I know she didn't put Meg there, but that is Meg who said that, and she did make a BBM finals a couple years ago. The year Pat Crane won. But it has been very hard since. WFN Warehouse, the Kraft Scadaboo injuries were heartbreakers. Yeah, it was, my highest drafted running back, my highest drafted tight end. I think it was back-to-back weeks also. Trivia time, Steve. How many of the top 50 finishing lineups in last year's BBM did the drafter max out at 150 drafts in BBM? I know you know the answer. I have no idea. I'm going to guess 19. Okay. So it was that. Okay, I thought for some reason that Dalton game was the week before. So Shuck got him 5 points. Thanks for the answer, Hartman. But yeah, a 5-point game. So a JJ McCarthy game is what Tyler Shuck got him that week. So I'm up. I will get back to chat after this pick. Young Mula takes Frymuth. I will go Trey Tucker. When I said this yesterday, I think Cousins just helps all the Raiders skill guys quite a bit. I think it raises their floor. While I don't expect Cousins to be there for the playoff weeks, it just helps, and hopefully, it's also one of those things like Mendoza can learn by sitting and develop a little bit. So when he gets in there, it is maybe a little like Tyler Shuck, who, had he started week 1, he might not have been that good. I'll take a Pat Bryant. I've been taking him a little bit more recently. Just need receivers. I don't know if this ends up because I probably am just going to 5 running backs. So we'll kind of see what, do I go 9 receivers? Do I go, is this 3-5, 10-2? Maybe I tack on a late tight end. Maybe I tack on since my quarterback started at Chuck Me, I do 4 quarterbacks. Tack on Kirk Cousins, get some weeks out of him there. Mbuga and Otten disappeared mid-season. I feel like Baker looks for Godwin, McMillan in crunch time, and we are too low on McMillan. I mean, I definitely think now we're too low on McMillan, and just to the point earlier, like, yeah, some people got McMillan at 150 earlier, but now at 120, I think still makes quite a bit of sense. I think he's arguably the best value of these picks, because I think Mbuga is a little rich going, 40-ish. I think Godwin's a fine price, but I think McMillan's the best value right now. You're not in super low, but he's kind of a floor play tight end. It is hard, but I play for fun, and if I lose the money, it's fine. I don't count it as loss as soon as I deposit. Got it. Yeah. This one's from Meg Moose. Yeah. Now she'd be very happy about that, GAB. So, okay. Yeah, I've been wondering that. Thanks for answering that, Hartman. Because I just figured, and yeah, 5 points. So he got lucky that Chuck even got in there. And I actually wonder, I don't know if you ever mentioned it, how close was he to even advancing that team out of the regular season? Every point can matter. I know before there have been studies done that the second to third place on average is about 15-point difference. Not sure if it is remain the same or not. So Surratt goes. I'll take Vele as part of this Saints stack. Could go tight end like Helm. JT taps both quarterbacks there. So I might go tight end. I think Helm makes sense with my Cam Ward. Because I think 9 receivers is fine, and I'll take one more at the end. Mike Rob saying 25 out of 50, but two of those are guys who had 2 on the top 50. Really close, but data kind of shows it's more like go 115 BBM or just small dip of your toe in the contest, 1 or 15 entries. Yeah. No, I makes sense. Volume does, I think, no question, give you more of a chance. I know the guy who won it the year before is kind of similar. Like, he didn't max, but he had like 110 entries, I want to say, or something along those lines. And the one that won was like his 20th best entry. He had a pretty good advance rate to the playoffs. If I remember right, I think he got like 30 to the playoffs. But it was like the one that won was like his 20th best. But that's the one that made it all the way through. But thank you for the data, Mike. Appreciate that. So coming up here, I like the Jalen Noel pick. You know, there's been some not great news about Tank Dell of recent. And I've just been kind of out on Dell this whole time. So, but I think Noel all along should be going higher. And I'm guessing post-draft, we see that ADP flip. So here I'm going to take Cooper Kupp. You know, what I said earlier about raising my floor, it was a down year for him. I think he only had 3 10-plus point weeks last year. But it wouldn't shock me, just given how much he's on the field, if that's 4, 5, 6 10-plus point weeks this year. Do I expect him to be putting on Cooper Kupp numbers from a couple years ago? No. But I think he's a good, solid chaperone to tie this team together, whether it's bye weeks, injuries, just young guys like not producing, just helps to me raise the floor of this team. So as draft wraps up, we will go over our FanSpeak YouTube members teams. I'll start with mine, and I will need to double check on a couple to see, but we have Tyler Shuck, Daniel Jones, Cam Ward. So I pushed quarterback. I know this is something like Al Boogie's talked about. Meg and I have done this a couple times, and I've done it a handful of times. I usually, in the past, I was doing it like early in this process with like a Kyler or a Malik Willis, so more of a rushing threat. But you know, Shuck, Daniel Jones, Ward, it's thin, but there's some upside here. There is some rushing ability with Shuck and even a little bit with Ward. I don't really expect Daniel Jones to run much this year, but he is on the best offense of these three. JT, Derrick Henry, Endo, Corm, and Jonah Coleman. I talked about the running back situation already. 4 in the top 100, 5 in the top 124. I think it just, you know, I'm very fine stopping at 5 there, and that Corm, Hendo connection of the floor and the spike ceiling guy, I think is nice in this kind of build. Receiver, I still got 4 in the top 100. Chris Olave, Jameson Williams, Jordan Tyson, Chris Godwin. You know, the question here is, Chris Olave might be the only number 1 on this team. Jameson Williams is a very good number 2, but he's a number 2. Chris Godwin probably ends up the number 2. And Jordan Tyson, depending on where he gets drafted, could be the number 2. And then that continues down the board. Like Vele is going to be the 2 or the 3, Kupp the 2 or the 3, Pat Bryant the 3 or the 4, Trey Tucker the 2 or the 3, maybe an outside shot at the 1, Calvin Ridley probably the 2. So that's why I threw volume at it. 9 guys. Ideally, most weeks I'm only shooting for 3 spots. So hopefully that is enough firepower there. Tyler Warren, Juwan Johnson, got a nice fall on Juwan Johnson. And then Gunnar Helm, tacked him on as part of the stack. And also because it was just a falling value there. You know, wasn't going to take him as ADP, but when I get him 2 rounds later and it's part of a stack, I think it pays off. Let's see here. Let me go over just people I know, how they started. I think, if I'm not mistaken, King of QC and Peanut Punch are the only YouTube members. If I'm wrong on that, please let me know. It is sometimes hard to keep track of. So just give me a shout if I have that wrong. I appreciate everyone for joining, drafting, whether you're a YouTube member, a subscriber. We appreciate it. Don't get me wrong, but that is something we offer to our members. But JT went 3.672 with the Bijan Allen Pickens start. Ragnar went 3.683 with a double anchor, and then Higgins, so in a lot of Cincinnati. Young Mula with a 3.872. Puka and DJ Moore kind of probably anchoring his receiver room. Bowers, why he only went 2 tight ends. and Brees Hall seeming, my guess is the anchor running back there. So let me go over King of QC and Peanut Punch's draft. Oh, okay, I'm wrong. Thank you, King QC, for being clear on that. And I actually just looked it up. So let me just go over Peanut Punch. Uh, 2693, Daniels, Love, James Cook, Marion Hampton, Josh Jacobs, Taj Spears, Ollie Gordon, Najee Harris, Garrett Wilson, Carnell Tate, Jordan Addison, Casey Concepcion, Matthew Golden, Rashid Shaheed, Steph Diggs, Debo Samuel, Shamir Dike, Tucker Kraft, Hunter Henry, David Njoku. I really like this Diggs, Debo Samuel. Megan and I did this on the draft last night. That is just so much potential value. Wherever they land, they're just going to skyrocket up the board as they should. And yeah, I think this is a very, very strong wide receiver room. Even if it's seems like a thinner start with, Garrett Wilson, Carnell Tate, and Jordan Addison, technically only 3 in the top 100, though Concepcion's right behind it. You threw enough volume at it, enough upside plays, some spike week guys, kind of like me, not really ones here. These are, probably twos down the board. But there are potentially a lot of good twos or high upside cases. At end, I think is very strong with Kraft and Henry, and then tacking on Njoku. And Daniels and Love is a nice 1-2 combo. Let me hit up chat and then we'll get into the next one. Let me know in chat. Should I do last war room or do you want to do a big board? So let me know and in the next couple minutes and we'll figure that out. Sherman legit, his worst advancing team as a week 14 was his legit worst advancing team as a week 14 and sprung to the top. It's the whole just get in to actually have a shot and you can correlate. Awesome, but still have to get there first. Yeah, no, that's where I'm at, Mike, and that's why I say you got to walk before you can run. Those last 3 weeks, and that's why the sprint is very aptly named, because it is a sprint once you get to the playoffs. But getting to the playoffs is the much longer process, and as we've seen, we've just seen every different year, sometimes it's zero RB, sometimes it's robust RB, sometimes it's anchor, like last year, different builds. We've seen different levels of correlation. We've seen different levels of whether it's bringbacks or not. In just a handful of years, we're seeing different types of things win, and that's just the main contest. Peanut Punch, same normally, max BBM, but not this year. It's been really cutting into the profit. Yeah. If you get one to the finals, it's nice. It pays off for the whole bid, and especially if you do less than that, then it's really paying off. I wouldn't mind to see if they change it a little bit. If they change it up and make the advance rates better, and it's probably more people into the finals, but the finals min prize is 2K. I think that's probably a good trade-off. I'd have to see the exact numbers. But King QC, appreciate you being in here, and thanks for letting me know. I remember Aiden. Peanut Punch say War Room. GAB says big board. JT Max in the big board. So, all right, I'll give it another minute. I need to take a drink. That was a lot of talking. But that seems to be 3 votes for the War Room and 1 vote for the big board. So, you know what? I'll do my final big board or my final War Room 2 on stream with you guys. And okay, King QC is a member now. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Let me just go over your team real quick then. Give me another minute to get into the, see if anyone else votes. Here, King QC, thank you so much for joining. Also, to let you know, members, we do 2 shows for our members every week. One is a live show on Sundays. You can, with Meg and I, our Sunday Night Football. You can watch it, of course, later as well. As many will tell you, it is usually chaos. as one would expect. But then I also tape a show as well. This week, I'm going to break down rookies Omar Cooper Jr. and Elijah Surratt. Now that we have some of their workout numbers and just I've been waiting to do them for their pro day. So King QC, it was in the 6th spot, and he went 3-6-8-3. Lamar, Dart, Darnold. I like that. Two rushing quarterbacks. Lamar obviously has upside to be QB1. Sam Darnold tacked on, and you got Darnold at a fall. 10-pick fall is nice. DeAndre Swift, Rico Dowdle, Tony Pollard, Rashard White, Alvin Kamara, and Malik Davis. Yeah, this is like, to me, the good way to do quote unquote zero RB. I know not everyone considers, has a different definition of where zero RB goes, but I think you got 2, possibly 3 starting running backs, like 1,000-yard backs. No question, you got Rashard White, who, even if Jeremiah Love's there, I think he's fine. If he's not, he's even better. Alvin Kamara, just going way too late. The Saints have kind of made it clear, like, Kamara's staying. Everything sounds good there. And then Malik Davis, a late tack on. He outplayed Jaden Blue last year. Could be the case again this year. I think they could draft somebody on day 3 to make it a bit more murky, but taking a shot on Malik Davis in the last round, nothing wrong with that. JSN, Malik Neighbors, AJ Brown, Zay Flowers. So very heavy wide receiver early for that 0B. Michael Pittman tacked on right around pick 100. So 5 early to count on, and then you just waited, and also got a nice little fall on Troy Franklin. I took Pat Bryant. I think Franklin and Bryant are essentially the same bet. Let's get some good weeks from this Denver offense. Yes, they're the clear number, they're fighting for this clear number 3-4 role, but there's probably some fantasy upside there. Malik Washington, we'll see where he stands with Miami after the draft, but right now he's probably kind of at the top of the charts. And Ted Hurst, probably a 3rd round pick. Upside, speed, vertical guy. If he gets a nice little landing spot, maybe he hits a spike week or 2. So yeah, I think, and take those shots on these guys, especially like Malik Washington, Ted Hurst. I mean, they could be zeros. They could be, Malik Washington could be the Dolphins' leading receiver. It's just, that's the path, but it doesn't hurt you because you got 5 guys that are very strong ahead of them. And then Mark Andrews, Chig Okonkwo, AJ Barner. You really got Lamar stacked up. You got Neighbors and Dart together, and then the Seattle stack, JSN and Barner to go along with Sam Darnold. So yeah, it's stacked up. 3 clear starting quarterbacks, no questions there. Running back room, even for waiting, is probably one of the best you can do with Swift, Dowdle, Pollard. And it's one of those, I almost like the White versus Pollard thing because, for you, best case scenario is Love goes to the Giants. But if he goes to Tennessee, then White's better. If he goes to Washington, then Pollard's better. So it's almost like a win-win. You kind of hedge the Jeremiah Love debate a bit. Have you ever considered taking a shot of Malore? I'm not sure what that is. Before Thursday night and Sunday Night Football with Meg. JT. Okay, yeah, because I knew you remember before. So appreciate you for re-upping. Let me read off JT's team. So we'll have another little break before we get to the next draft. He goes 5 quarterbacks, 5, 6, 7, 2. I saw him tack on Cousins at the end and, do that Penix Cousins thing. And I knew it'd taken Tua. So you hedged both of those, Mendoza, Cousins, Tua, Penix. So you got 3 quarterback rooms. Josh Allen, you feel pretty damn good about. And then you take 4 other quarterbacks, but you wait till pick 168. I think you played that perfectly because it's obviously not easy to get all four. So that worked out very well. And, for this 20th round format, I don't mind it. I'll see how the rest of the team goes, but I'm assuming it's pretty good. Bijan also stacked up with Atlanta. Chuba, I have my own concerns with Chuba, but I understand there is a path where he's a starter. J.K. Dobbins, I think, is a good pick. Keaton Mitchell, Jordan James, Jerome Ford, he just signed. I think Rashard White is definitely ahead of him, but Ford, maybe he himself could be pushing JCM. We'll see, but fine last round pick. Overall, I think you have a chance of 3 starting running backs and then 3 satellite or upside back, handcuffs backs. So I think that turns out fine with a kind of like your super anchor in Bijan. If Bijan is what he can be, then that running back room can work. George Pickens, Christian Watson, Rome Dunze, Alec Pierce, Jacoby Myers. Got a little fall on Pearson Myers as well. So 5 in top 100, Tecton Shakir, and then was able to stop with Naylor. Naylor, of course, with the double Raiders. So yeah, I think that's a good room in Shakir with Josh Allen. That's right, you had Josh Allen. Knew you had a top quarterback, and I blanked on him for a second. Dalton Kincaid also with Josh Allen, and Isaiah Likely, 2 tight end build there. I mean, yes, kind of need Kincaid to stay healthy, but I like doing some 2 tight end builds like that for sure to open it up to be a little bit more creative here, to get your 3 quote unquote 3 quarterbacks. You just did with 5, but at total cost, it's not that expensive. King QC loves his team, obviously banking on top 2 hitting with this strategy. Elite, everything else in that wide receiver room is filthy. Yeah. Yes, great people. Appreciate you guys for joining. Team 3 went 6 straight wide receivers to start. Let me just look at that real quick. Yeah, that's where, and I know he ends up with 8 running backs. I just feel like there's a bit of a diminishing returns. Like I've done 5 before. And if you want to wait on running back till round 7, take a quarterback here, take a tight end here. Like if you'd taken, the team had taken like Loveland or, I know Bowers and probably didn't get back to him, but it just feels better if you're getting in the lead at another position. I know he stopped at 6 receivers, so I do think that's the way to go. And, overall, kind of caught up. A few riskier picks. It's definitely not my optimal strategy. And did he have... No, he didn't have... I saw he took Mac Jones. And yeah. But doing it sometimes I think works. I just generally, like if you want to do 0 running back, I like it if you're hitting an elite at another position outside a receiver. All right. So let's enter one more war room. And I will count it down, entering in 10 seconds. And in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, enter. So got a kind of a fresh room. Hopefully nobody got in a pre-flow or anything. Wait on 7. But is it one of the most intense bitter tastes described as many as a rite of passage? Okay. So is it alcoholic or is it something else? Yeah, no, I mean my lord. But what kind of alcohol? Like, I'm just curious. I can't say I've ever heard of it. Chase London Nico is a dream start, but yeah, I just think then, like, taking a lemon, like, you can stop 6 receivers, but I'd wait a couple rounds. Like, is there a vast difference for that build taking lemon or, like Michael Pittman 3 rounds later or Khalil Shakir 5 rounds later and still stopping at 6? Probably not. I mean, those guys very likely could actually outproduce Lemon as a rookie. So that's kind of my take on those kind of builds, because when you hit that nuts of those like 3 elite guys who it's like, okay, yeah, I have 3 of the top like 5 or 7 receivers. If so, then you probably didn't need that, 5th and 6th one where you took them. So still waiting on 7. Let me refresh. It's like absinthe, I think, because it's wormwood based. Okay. Never had it. So maybe that's wrong. Chicago based wormwood flavored. Wormwood flavored. That would be not good. All right, still waiting on 7. Hopefully this fills soon. Obviously haven't been having issues fill it. Yeah, exactly. Jump in this war room. Water is warm. So yeah, this will be my last war room. I have 1 slow going, and got a lot more big boards to do. And I'll have to do more of those, either off stream or slow, because I'm going to try and save some for early next week to do on stream. But yeah, I think I'm going to run out of days. And I still think we could see a smaller tournament open. I know Huheim side would be Little Board 2. I don't think it will be Little Board 2, but I do think it'll be something small. Wouldn't be surprised if they just call it the mini war room and it's like a $5 tournament, whether it's 4 max, 5 max. Maybe it'll be like a little higher max since it's $5. Like you theoretically, maybe, instead of 4,500, it's like 18,000 would be 4 times. And so instead of 4 max, it's 15 max. So essentially the same sort of thing. So I could see them do something like that. Yeah, because I think that would fill quickly. I just feel like you have a couple weeks until the draft. I know you don't want to have too much total overlay, and you don't want to make the mistake they did a year ago. But if you try and wait to draw out the little board as much as possible, you then run into the risk of whatever you drop at the end also doesn't fully fill. Or if you do what I just suggested, an 18,000 entry contest, that would fill, by sometime next, let's say they launch it on Tuesday, that would fill by the next Tuesday or the next Wednesday. At best, and at worst, it'd be closer to the draft. So that's my guess. I do think them launching the War Room 2 makes me feel better that they're going to do a something else. No, I mean, this is almost filled. I think it'll fill. We got Mike McCulloch in here. Hey, Steve, happy Friday. Ready for war. Joining us in the War Room. Appreciate that. To you, Mr. Fossa, happy Friday, Steve. Appreciate that. Yes, it is Friday. It's a holiday weekend for many. So I hope everyone has a good, fun holiday weekend. If we do a big board night, might not be a lot of FanSpeak fam. Forgot you need to do a lot more. No, it's all good. Meg saying she can ping the Discords to fill the War Room. It's waiting on 3. I think it's going to fill. Like, I don't think this is going to be like the bigger board where it gets to this point and then, 10 minutes later, I don't think it's not going to take 10 minutes, but next thing we know, we're waiting on 5. and then 7. I don't think people are going to drop out. So I'll give it another couple minutes. No problem talking about it. And yeah, nothing major going on that I'm seeing in the Twitter streets. Let me know if anyone else, any signings, any rumors, anything like that. Did see my guy, speaking of baseball, I know we got some baseball players in here. CJ Abrams had a day today, and he's been on a tear to start. Wish I drafted more of him. Nats have actually been hitting the ball really well so far. Ooh, Alberg hit a sick eagle chip in. Nice. Yeah, next week is the Masters. So that is going to be interesting. Maybe I'll do a couple streams with that next week as we prepare for the Masters. Like saying I can bull Meg in those discords while she's trying to be helpful. Rondon with another setback. Oh, hate to see that. I did take him a couple times. All right, still waiting on 2. Hopefully we get in there. Fantasy Dog, appreciate that. 30th like, appreciate you for being in here. Abrams must be allowed to gamble again. When's your next live with who Hames? That'll be next Tuesday. Should be about 3 p.m. Eastern again. Got WFR Omega in here. Sup, Steve? Peanut Punch. Appreciate that. Who Steve collabs are great. Meg saying my guy Spieth is going to make the cut, but not great today for my showdowns. Yes, those who don't know, Jordan Spieth is Meg's Cam Scataboo in golf. So 2 more people. This is not obviously I've not done many, but I'm surprised with it filling 20% yesterday. That's this slow to fill. And this is what I mean is I'm guessing some people have already maxed it. This will be maxing it for me, so maybe that it slows down slightly. Yes, definitely is. All right, I still would like to get this in. Wait on 2. Danimal saying, yeah, maxed yesterday. Great stream. Appreciate that, Danimal. Yeah, that's what I did figure, because I heard just multiple people talk about like they want to get them in quick. And I mean, I am doing that as well. I'm doing it 4 in one of which is slow, 4 within a day. But yeah, I think we'll get through the weekend. If you could pick a player to start your franchise around between James Wood and Ellie, who are you picking? I'm going to say James Wood. I like Ellie a lot. I think maybe it's being a Nats homer, but I'm going to say James Wood. I just think he is honestly a lot like, he reminds me a lot of Juan Soto. And Soto's one of the 3 best players in baseball. So that's kind of, but Ellie's great also. But I think Wood is just a slight edge above. This is the first leg of the drafting year done, dogs. Yeah, it's going to be a long year. This waiting on one more person. Come on, let's get this filled. But yeah, the first part of this, it starts before the Super Bowl, but essentially February through the beginning of September, we are drafting in these best ball streets. And we're down to 17 more for 1K Super Show. Remember to subscribe, everyone. Yes, absolutely. If you're watching, haven't subscribed yet, please give us a sub. We're going to get to 1,000. We're going to do a 24-hour live stream, and we have a lot planned in store once BBM starts. So we'd love to have 1,000 subs going into that. So we really appreciate everyone for all your support. Actual game dates and some more information, lock it all in. Yeah. Once we get into not just BBM, but then a couple weeks later, the schedule comes out. That's when I think it gets, real things are going to really pick up. All right, we did start. Let's see. We got King QC in the 1, Mufasa in the 2. We got Paul. Paul is back in the drafting streets. Legion 13 in the 3. Peanut Punch in the 4. JT Alford in the 5. Buddy Man, that I believe is someone in here. Sorry if I don't remember the name. I'm in the 12 spot. If anyone else is in here, let me know. Good luck to everyone. Only 2 of us are advancing. Very much a friends and family draft. There's at least 6 of us, maybe 7 or more. But to answer this question, what teams do I think are mostly draft running back on day 2? I think, so day 2 obviously includes the 3rd round. I think Washington's taking a running back, whether it's 7 at Love, whether it is, they don't have a 2nd round pick. So whether it's a 3rd round pick, or maybe they trade up into the late 2nd round with their 3rd and other future picks or something like that. I do think Washington, I don't see Washington going into the season with their current backfield. So I think they're drafting somebody. The one caveat would be Titans take Jeremiah Love, and then Washington trades a late round pick for Pollard. Other day 2 teams, Seattle, I think is very likely to take a running back on day 2. I think we could see potentially San Francisco, just since, right now it's Jordan James, but I could see them taking one there. I also think a team like Green Bay, that's why I'm not really taking Chris Brooks, and definitely not taking Marshawn Lloyd, because I just think they could be very apt to add a running back on day 2. Minnesota potentially as well. Like, yes, Aaron Jones is back for a year. This would be more 3rd round. I don't see Minnesota doing it in the 2nd round. Like, yes, Aaron Jones is back for this year, but it's just for this year. Jordan Mason, this is, they can get out of it after this year. If they see some real upside, they could take a shot on somebody. I'd say the Lions are a little less, so I think the Lions add somebody at some point. That's why I'm not filling it on Pacheco. Lions are probably more like early day 3 would be my guess. As for a couple other teams, I think would make, at least a bit of sense. Hold on, let me make these picks and get back to the question. I'm going to go Genty. I'll go Genty Hampton. Get the 2 AFC West teams. These are 2 teams that I don't think are going to be drafting a running back on day 2. But as for, other teams that might be considering it, I think the Titans, if they don't take Love, they could take one in the 3rd round. Pollard is in last year's deal. Spears is an impending free agent. That would be the worst case scenario for Spears. Excuse me, sorry for that. So Titans potentially could, but I don't think they're a lock. Nobody else totally jumps out, so I think it's more likely going to be a kind of a surprise team. Like, you could make the case, like the Ravens preparing for life after Derrick Henry. Justice Hill's coming back from an injury. They got rid of Mitchell. Maybe the Ravens take a shot at it. I think originally I would have said a team like the Texans, who's some extra picks in that range. A team like the Jags maybe still could, because Jags have like 3 third-round picks. But probably not with them signing Chris Rodriguez. So, I kind of think we will see 5 backs between day 1 and 2. Day 1 is just Jeremiah Love, and then we'll see 5 or 6 backs. I'll say so. 4 or 5 backs on day 2 is how I'll say it. Darian Price, Emma Johnson, Jonah Coleman, and Mike Washington are probably the 4, and then we could see a Katron Allen. We could see somebody else. Some people like Seth McGowan. Some people, I don't really think it'd be him, but we could see somebody else spike up there. So I think we probably see 4, and maybe a 5th. Like a Damian Claiborne or somebody like that. In between rounds 2 and 3 is kind of how I look at it. So yeah, there's not many obvious teams, with major roles, but some could also push. Like if the Lions do add somebody, I think that guy instantly becomes more valuable than Isaiah Pacheco. Maybe Pacheco could do what Kenneth Gainwell did a year ago. I highly doubt that, but that's what you'd kind of need in that case scenario. All right, let me catch up. Let me Omega here. Thank you so much for the 5 gifted FanSpeak memberships. Somebody could shout out who got them, just so I know, because I cannot see, from the chat here. So I'd appreciate that. Bowman entry tournaments, the little board feeling slow. Wonder if less early drafters this year. Yeah, I mean, to me, Peanut, it's more I think they hurt themselves twofold. Well, one, the advance rate, it being 212 versus 312, but 2, last year was a 50 max for the little board. Both the little board 1, little board 2, and because the little board 1 last year was, I believe, the same size. It was just 50 max versus the 20 max. So that didn't help matters. And then the fact that there was no other clear smaller dollar contests. Like part of the reason the puppies fill is we know the next one's coming around the corner. And if not a puppy, we know it's a hound dog, a poodle, a German Shepherd, et cetera, et cetera. I think a lot of people knowing that, they wanted to wait till free agency. They want to wait. So it's like, if you only have 20 entries and it's not filling at a high rate, so there's no extra rush for you, why not hold some back? I try to hold back as many as possible, and I only have 1 left. So I don't think that help matters either. Like if people knew, if they had announced in March, we're going to launch this $5 contest, in, end of March, we're going to launch this contest, then maybe the little board would have filled faster. I kind of believe that. I think we double tap receivers here in Ladd and Mbuka. So I think those things impacted it as well. They definitely don't have as many drafters now in this time frame as they do later. Paul, yes, Paul's back in the drafting streets. What is this yellow bar first down marker? Yeah, it is. A lot of people are not fans, and I don't think it's that big of a deal, but it just seems a little ridiculous. How's Genty not top 6 flat out? Kubiak, second year line. Those guys, the guys we used to take say, hey. And honestly, the Cousins thing helps Genty as well. Having a capable quarterback, I think, just raises the floor. There were so many games last year where Genty didn't even have a chance because Geno and the offense was so bad. Like that first Kansas City game, I think the team had I don't even know if they had 30 offensive plays. They had 120 total offensive yards. It was so horrendous of a game. And there are multiple like that. So now just having even a functional quarterback is going to go so far. I don't have a little bar, must update. Yeah. So Frog Clone got one apparently. Slap the like slappies. Appreciate that. Come bathe with us. Yes, thank you so much, Omega. We got kicks in here. Scataboo, GIF, disbanded with the dot. Very awesome, Mega. Yes, thank you again so much, Mega. Love pulling Genti up. So let me see if I can look it up on my phone. Who got the FanSpeak memberships? That Omega was very, very kind to donate. And thank you all for being in here and liking this episode as well. So this 5th round starting, we are seeing Waddle. I've seen him a couple times now in the 50s. Okay, that's where I'll take him. Like, I cannot take Waddle at like 40, 44, 43. That to me is just too much. Why is my YouTube not working on my phone? Okay. Sorry about that. All right, I'm coming up at 60-61. I'm so far 0-2-2. I don't love the Mbuka price. Like I've said this before, I think Smith is a better play. I honestly think like Mike Evans and Adams are better plays. I think in Mbuka, you can make a case JMO or Burden are better. Zay Flowers, particularly if you get this, the Lamar stack. So I feel it's closer, more of a mix in there. Love the DJ Moore pick there at 57. That feels like absolute stealing. But I get it. Like I don't want 0 Mbuka. So I will take him there. Just, you gotta get some, I feel like. Because I do think that offense can be pretty good. I don't have a stack, but let's go Jaden Daniels. Want to get a little bit more there as well. So Frog Clone, Mean Team Mean, Luis Flores, Crypto Ballin, and Al the Game. Got the Membies. Thank you so much again, Omega. I appreciate that, Mike, for looking that up. All right, let me go back to the board. So, yeah, I like Jaden Daniels. I just haven't gotten him a ton. I find it tough to stack him with McLaurin. And then there's no like secondary stack right now until you get to Chig, which is fine. But and he's fine to be unstacked, obviously. But it's just so many times like I'm making the decision between Daniels or Caleb Williams, and Caleb Williams is a stack, or Jalen Hurts is a stack, or Drake May is just an easier guy to stack. So that's why I end up being a little lower on JD, but that's what these last couple drafts are for. Also want to balance some of the exposures. Some I'm still not going to take, like particularly a lot of the injured guys I've just been out on, like a Tyreek Hill. I have 0%, and I'm fine with that. I'm not going to change that between now and the draft. So coming up here, could double up at quarterback with Herbert with the 2 pieces there. Kraft goes. I was hoping Kraft would go. We are seeing Fannin fall, which I think is the right call. Like I just think Fannin is the most mispriced tight end. I love him as a tight end. It's just it's hard for me to click them there. So we will take Herbert. I have a ton of Pearsall, so I think I'm going to just go Addison here. For my third receiver, so double quarterback, Genty, Hampton, Montgomery, McConkey, Mbuka, and Jordan Addison. All right, so entering round 8, I'm 2330. JT is 0151, Peanut 1321, Legion 1231, Fossa 115, King QC 0340. Mike saying I've been hammering the May AJ combo, assuming that deal happens. Yeah, I mean, I think that's an interesting way to do it. And yeah, that Mike is buddy man here in the was at the 7th hole with grabbing AJ Brown, and then May. And it's one of those, like, even if it doesn't work, it's fine. Like, AJ Brown can still be very well worth that pick, and Drake May can be very well worth that pick. So it's almost like a icing on the cake sort of thing. Like, if it happens, great. If it doesn't, it's not. I don't think it's a problem at all. So I'm pretty good at quarterback right now. I feel like I need some more receivers. And let's see if we can double tap it here at 108, 109. This is a tough range because I feel like the receiver market, like Wandale and Worthy, I think are well, I think, as you can see in my rankings, I have them both worthy of even being picked before pick 100. And that's like Jaden Reed, who is fine, just doesn't super excite me. Concepcion goes early to Peanut Punch, but he's flying up the boards. As I said, last night, I think he could end up being probably no worse than wide receiver 3 taken in the draft. I really think he could get up that high, and there's a chance he's wide receiver 2 in the draft as well. Right, so Wanda and Worthy are both there, but Algier also. I think we'll take the running back, because that drops off considerably as well. As much as I like Worthy, I think Wandale is the better pick there, and for this build, just I don't think they bring in any more competition, any more significant competition. They could draft a receiver, probably 3rd at the earliest, but probably more likely 4th or 5th round. And so Wandale, I think probably pretty clearly is going to be the number 1 target on the team. Now, number 1 target, he never has had big touchdown upside. Maybe a healthy Calvin Ridley, or maybe an Iomanor, or maybe a DK end up with more fantasy points, potentially. Most likely would be Ridley, if he's healthy and fully starting. Then Algier, we haven't been gaining him back in the pick 100 since he signed, so I think there's a nice little fall there. It gives me a solid 4th running back option. So we see a quarterback run here. You know, I said this the other day. We had been seeing Malik Willis fall. I think where Mufasa takes him, that's where he should go. And yeah, I know he's a guy with only a handful of starts, particularly since his terrible rookie year. But the upside is just real. And generally, we're paying definitely top 100 prices for that upside. You know, even last year, Justin Fields was going more like pick 90. You know, and this, you know, sometimes pick 100, but essentially like 90 to pick 100 years past, whether it be Justin Fields, Anthony Richardson, you know, those like high spike week, you know, mobile quarterbacks, but aren't like good enough to actually be a good quarterback. You know, I mean, we're taking Anthony Richardson and Justin Fields 1 year in like the 5th, 6th round. So that feels pretty good. I'm Cobra. Ridley bet on himself to lead the Titans in yards for what it's worth. Yeah, I could still give the yardage to Wandale. I think Ridley could have the touchdowns though, so maybe that's how he out produces him. So Ridley might actually lose that bet on himself. All right, coming up here, 2 picks. Will not go George Kittle. Make it be so disappointed with the 10 pick fall on Kittle. So Jennings goes. I'm going to take Boston. You know what? I'm going to double tap these rookie receivers. Be my 5th and 6th guys. We'll still probably go 8, I'm thinking, on this build. But, you know, for 2 guys who are probably going to go between somewhere pick 20 and 40, you know, early 2nd round at worst, the fact that we're getting them, you know, now at least 20, in some cases like 30 spots past Incepcion, and, you know, essentially double what we're paying for Tate and Lemon and Tyson. That just feels like a real value leak right there. Because, you know, as much as draft capital is a significant factor, and we generally want to see 1st round, the reality is we see it every year. You know, Lad McConkey goes behind, you know, Worthy and Coleman and you know, Leggett and Pearsall and, you know, dunks on all of them. You know, it's not always a guarantee. So I think the fact that we're just getting them so late, it's just so easy for them to pay off. Even if they get bad landing spots, even if they're not full-time starters, like Omar Cooper goes somewhere and he's like the slot and only plays 50% of snaps, 60% of snaps, easily can still pay off that. The other receivers he's competing against, you know, and Brandon Ayuk might not even play this year, are kind of in that same role. And same with Boston. Like, Boston just has that touchdown upside. Yeah, he might be like the better version of Romeo Doubs, but, you know, we took Doubs in this range last year, you know, 140-ish, and it paid off nicely. I think there could be even, you know, a bit more upside for both those guys as well. All Coming up here, 13th round. King QC is now 3460. Mufasa 3361. Legion 2452. Peanut 1552. JT 1561. We'll see what Buddy Man does here. And then before we make this pick, 246. Okay. Buddy Man goes tight end. Again, likely there. As long as Net Plus doesn't take Chig, I should get my stack here. Okay. I get him. And then I will take Strange as well. Yeah, no running back. I like Jonathan Brooks, but I think Strange is too much of a value here. Chig, Strange. I think that's a good tight end start for me. This is one of the earliest I've seen Mendoza go 160, since kind of the Cousins news. Only done a couple drafts, but usually it's been more in the 170s or later. I think I'll probably end up, we'll see what I can tack on at quarterback, but I'll probably end up 3683, the more standard build. And rounding out this round here, a little bit of running back run. Like the Dalton Schultz pick there. He's been criminally low this entire time. Yeah, I think 3683 is probably the best approach for this team. I think one of the big things with the draft that sometimes can get overlooked is, of course, teams who rebuild their offensive line. And, I think the Texans, kind of going on the Dalton Schultz thing, they've done a nice job in free agency. I'm assuming that, they have a bunch of picks. I'm hoping they may even make a big move up and get a top tier offensive lineman. I just think we have a real chance where Stroud has the best offensive line he's ever played with. He unfortunately has just been a guy who's been really susceptible to pressure. So if that's the case, I do think we should start considering Stroud a little bit differently. So Hawkinson goes. So I'm not going to get the tight end here. You could take a Trey Harris for another stack. Sampson. don't have any tank. I might have tank in a slow or two, but don't have any on underdog. Not bad for one of the better handcuff running backs. We'll take a shot here. But yeah, that is one that not just the Texans, but some other teams, like there's going to be at least one guard, probably 6 or 7 tackles taken in the first round. 1 or 2 of those tackles might be moved inside. Even a guy like Spencer Fano actually probably has the versatility to play center if you need him to. He could probably play any position on the offense line, so he'll be an interesting one to watch. But in addition to that, there's going to be a bunch of second and third round guards and centers and a few more tackles. So not that we can always say teams who invest in the offensive line as rookies, it's a positive, but I think we saw it with the Saints last year. Kevin Banks was a win. We saw it with some other teams. Dallas, the guard they drafted, was an immediate starter and good player for them. Gray Zabel. A lot of people at this time last year were saying Seattle had one of the worst offensive lines. I think it was a combination, and their tackles the year before getting hurt, the tackles came back and were healthy last year, and then they draft Gray Zabel. And do they have the best offensive line in the league? No, but it was a vast improvement. It really helped Sam Darnold, really helped the running game, and that's kind of what I'm looking for some other situations out there. Texans, I think, being the biggest one, just because that's been such a clear drawback for them for basically Stroud's entire career. I like JT here taking, Geno and Rodgers. These prices, when Rodgers comes back, I think when we get post big board, like into the BBM season, I think that's where those guys are going to be going. So he gets 3 quarterbacks going late. And, slight risk because Rodgers is not fully signed on the dotted line yet. But when he does, Rodgers will probably be, he's not going to be a top 10 quarterback. He's not going to be likely a top 15 quarterback, though. He's probably potentially closer there than people want to give credit for. But yeah, he's probably going to end up being somewhere between quarterback like 18 and 24. And right now he's going, pick 188 to 200. And he doesn't have the bench risk. There's just a lot of positive there in his outlook. We'll go Mason Taylor to round out tight end. Yeah. And then I think I'd take another running back here. I'll go Ray Davis, just another strong handcuff. I got 2 anchor backs and then 2 handcuff backs on different teams. But if anything happens to Saquon or James Cook, there's just a ton of value there. And, some people would say, just handcuff your own elite back, which right now we can't really do with the Raiders, but, you could try to do with Hampton. But also you could do it with another team's handcuff back, because they're just as likely to get hurt. And yes, like if Genty gets hurt and Saquon stays healthy, yeah, I'm batting 0 there. But you also have the outcome if Genty stays healthy and Saquon gets hurt, then I'm batting without, like there's an upside swing to it also that I don't think people appreciate as much. And in a way, these handcuff backs are better if my guys stay healthy, because then even if it's only like a 2 games, if Saquon misses 2 games, those 2 games Tank Bigsby could be an elite back. But still, I have my alpha guys just dominating. Mike saying, it's not the most logical, but I despise Aaron Rodgers and would enjoy my life more if I never had to cheer for him. Hey, I get it. So there's some people who just don't, there's certain guys they don't like, don't respect, whatever. All right, last 2 picks for this second war room, my last war room. Second war room of the day, and we probably need Cousins went, Penix went, so might just be a 2 quarterback team. So that's less than ideal for me, but just never, the value just never made sense when quarterback came up. That was a totally different mic and not a burner. Please don't make her yell at me. Rodgers is very viable later. I'm picking him on her, and she shared that with us. Steve, will that calm her? I don't know. I'm guessing she's probably no longer watching because, Meg would not let Rodgers slander stand. No. Mike McCulloch for his take and opinion, and but yes, Meg is super in the Aaron Rodgers camp. Oh my. So definitely want a receiver. Could take Shador if I want a quarterback. I'm going to take Dotson, and what I am going to do is I am going to take a 3rd quarterback. I'm going to ignore the Cleveland situation, and I'm going to ensure my Washington pick of Jaden Daniels. As much as I love Jaden Daniels, we've known he's dealt with a myriad of injuries already in 2 years. Year 1, it didn't cost him any full games, but he got hurt twice. Year 2, he got hurt 3 times, and it cost him a lot of games. So Mariota's back. He's his backup. We will handcuff the Washington room. So ideally, I always have 2 quarterback options, if Herbert can stay healthy. So I'm going to have a lot of teams to review here. So I will start with my team, 3-6-8-3, standard build, a little different because I'm taking a handcuff quarterback here. But Jaden, Herbert early on, and then tacked on Mariota late. Running back room, double elite anchor running back. Genty and Hampton at the turn. Then David Montgomery got a fall on Tyler Algier, I really liked, and that allowed me to just wait on running back at that point. Took 2, handcuffed running backs from, which should be really good offenses. So there's also that upside as well. If those 2 running backs don't ever miss time, then probably not many usable weeks between Tank and Ray Davis. But hopefully with the top 4, that is not much of an issue. I think the wide receiver room turned out just fine. I could have made the case of adding a 9th, but Ladd and Buka, Jordan Addison, Wandale. I like the Boston Cooper play. To me, that turns into a very strong top 6. Trey Harris to go along with Ladd and my Chargers bet here. And then Jahan Dotson, for a late round wide receiver is a really clear path. I wouldn't say a clear path, but a potential path to be the Falcons' number 2 receiver. Just 2 years ago, this was like a pretty quality role for Darnell Mooney. I'm not saying Jahan Dotson's going to do that, but if he does, 60% of that, this is just a smash of a pick. And then 3 tight ends, hit Chig and Strange back-to-back in the late 50s, which, Strange is one of my favorite tight end clicks, and Chig, obviously with Jaden, is even better. And Mason Taylor got a round of value fall there as well. So I think it turned out okay for my final war room. And this, some people say, like, what's the point of the Mariota? This is what I talked about before. I'll take the insurance policy here. Every other room felt strong enough to, be at least high floor. Am I going to have the top receiver scores? Probably not. But I think I could have obviously very great quarterback scores, very good tight end scores, and then very good, running back scores. So if I'm above average at receiver, I think I'm fine. Could have added a 9th there, sure. But honestly, I think Mariota helps this team get pushed forward. In case it's a situation where Jaden misses 4 games in the middle of the year, let's not get screwed over that way. So I know I need to review basically all the teams at the front. Buddy Man here, just want to go over. He finished with a 2.783. We saw with that JT start and Nico AJ Brown, as he said, he's banged on that Brown to New England trade happening. So we'll go in order here. King QC, 4.683. Stafford, Stroud, Cam Ward, and then tacked on Tua as well. So didn't take his first quarterback until almost pick 100. Grabs 4 though. And I think that's a fine way to approach it. I mean, Tua might not play the whole year. No real rushing upside in this group, but take 4, passers. Stafford coming off such a great year, Stroud and Ward, and this is the type of team you're probably going to need to, just hit the right combo. You're raising your floor by having 4. I think it's fine. And yeah, Tua might not play the full year, but if it's 6, 8, 10 games, like that's just more options to cover buys to help raise your floor any given week. And then you have some stack here also with Bijan, of course. Bijan, Henry, Chase Brown, love that running back start, like triple anchor. And this is when you take, I like how you did this. 3 elite backs, take Charbonnet, but you also take George Villani. So it's like you probably have 4 backs, during early part of the year, Villani, late part of the year, Charbonnet. And that's when you do it, though, when you're so covered up top. As long as you don't get screwed and all 3 of these guys have the same bye week, and you just have George Villani week 8 or something like that. Other than that, that's a fun way to approach the running back room and fun way to approach the Charbonnet injury situation. Luther Burden, Devontae Adams, Jordan Tyson, Courtland Sutton, Chris Godwin. So despite the early investment at running back, 5 receivers in the top 100. Tacked on Jaden Higgins, not far behind, then Calvin Ridley and Jalen Tolbert. So taking some, maybe Tolbert ends up as the 1 or 2 in Miami. But I like these top 6 especially, and I'm okay with Calvin Ridley at cost. Some young upside swings in like Burden, Tyson, and Higgins, but some veteran, it's a nice mix of these vets. Adams, who can outplay his ADP. Sutton, I mean, he just consistently outplays this ADP, and yet he keeps getting pushed to it. Chris Godwin, hopefully fully back from injury this year. We know when healthy, Godwin is usually one of the better point per game type receivers. Hopefully that continues. I like how that receiver room came together. Feels very balanced, both with upside and more certainty. I think it turns into a strong room. Went late tight end, Schultz, Helm, and then Jake Tonjes. Now, Tonjes might not be there for the postseason push, so you might be thinner at tight end, because by then probably Kittle has reclaimed the majority of the role. But Tonjes could help get this team through, and I think that's fine. I think he took the 4th quarterback. I think you could have made a case for a 4th tight end. Also, I like Schultz, and I think Helm is very intriguing as well. I could have seen it going either way there. But overall, I think it's a very strong team. I really like what you do with that running back room. Mufasa, 3.773. Purdy, Bo Nix, Malik Willis. So 3 quarterbacks, in the top 120. But I like that, like Purdy was absolutely the guy you need down the stretch. Malik Willis, as I talked about before, such big spike week ability and potential. And then Bo Nix, just seems to be an ascending quarterback. Last year, his touchdown rate was a little low, but could get some positive touchdown regression there. And then, they just added a big-time weapon. Jahmyr Gibbs, Tony Pollard, Jordan Mason, Taj Spears, Brian Robinson, Dylan Sampson, and Mari DiMaccardo. So anchor running back with Gibbs, but Pollard and Mason can do well. Spears, you have the handcuff there, and if for some reason it's Love, Spears can still probably pay off, and Pollard actually might end up being in a better situation somewhere else. But Brian Robinson, I think, is a fun, number 2 back. Maybe doesn't get the full Algier role, but should have more usage than he did a year ago. Dylan Sampson, probably number 2 back there, and you got to fall on it. And then DiMaccardo, right now, probably number 2 back in City. I do think they're another team that is, kind of similar to the Pacheco thing. Like, even if Kansas City has like a 4th round running back, it could eat into DiMaccardo, but as your 7th running back, I don't think there's an issue with. Olave Pickens, I love that star. I love Pickens a lot. I think I have no concerns about the contract. 0. Like, I think he will be back in Dallas. I think it'll be a long-term deal. I think it gets done. Mike Evans, you got Waddle, and you got him, past ADP, which has been relatively hard recently. Alec Pierce, Steph Diggs, Pat Bryant, 1-7. But, some stacks here with Evans and, of course, the Denver duo, and then get Miami piece, but I think that's fine. And, I like Alec Pierce a lot. Steph Diggs, wherever he lands. When Steph Diggs signs somewhere, he's going definitively top 120 and probably more like top 100. So those just feel like a value, him and Debo, and Jennings to an extent as well. Tight end room, Goddard, Freiermuth, and Parkinson. Goddard in the middle, too late, but still seems pretty strong. Legion, 3-6-8-3, Hurts, Mayfield, Penix. Early, middle, late. Penix might play less games, but probably, he's probably more likely to be playing late just because, to a injury history and play history. So it's still taking some Penix shots late, I think is fine. Excuse me 1 second. Running back room, Jacob Scattaboo, Rico Dowdle, James Conner, Emmett Johnson, Katron Allen. So, as long as Scattaboo dodges Jeremiah Love, this turns into a super strong running back room. I think great value with Rico. I think Conner is a nice value. I know you put him above ADP, but that's kind of where I have him ranked. And then 2 rookies who are probably being undervalued at this point. Emmett Johnson probably is an RB2 in the draft, but it could be RB3, 4, maybe 5 at worst. And Katron Allen is probably, 3, 4, 5, or 6 at worst. And to get both of them, it's going to really end up being about landing spot there. I think right now they're really good values. Receiver room, Chase, London, McLaurin, fantastic start. QJ, Khalil Shakir, Elijah Surratt, Troy Franklin, Bryce Lance. So nice little mix here at the end of, a very safe play in Shakir, but some upside swings with QJ to be a spike week guy. Surratt, depending on where he lands. Troy Franklin is not going to hit every week, but when he does, could be nice. And Bryce Lance is, should be a 2nd round pick in the draft, and just big, potential spike week guy with his speed and vertical ability. Tyler Warren, Mark Andrews, Kate Otten. Also got Warren to fall a little bit, which doesn't always happen. Very strong tight end room. I think Mark Andrews remains one of the better values at tight end, and Otten is a great safe play as well, and also part of your stack. So yeah, I think every room strong. I think the way you're mixing in upside with some high floor guys, the 3 elite receivers to carry the team, you're going to be able to generally cobble plenty of options for 4th, or at times when you need a 3rd receiver there. And a lot of times I do think you can get your flex from the running back room, or maybe even tight end room with a guy like Mark Andrews. So like how you built that. I know you're happy to be back in the draft streets. Peanut 3782, Allen, Jacoby Brissett, Kirk Cousins. So Allen with the late quarterback, fall on Jacoby, which is good because it's probably better where he should be going. You run a risk here that both Jacoby and Brissett and Kirk Cousins could be benched at some point. If Arizona drafts like a Ty Simpson or something like that in the 2nd round, maybe neither of these quarterbacks are starting late, but you're still rolling with Josh Allen at that point. So, that's not the worst thing in the world to be doing. Way to lower running back, but then you kind of hit some guys in that mid-range: Hendo, Swift, Hubbard, Rashard White, Aaron Jones, Alvin Kamara, Najee Harris. So I like, Hendo. I think he's fine in this ADP range. It's just the type of back that he is very boom bust. Like, he'll have that 25-point week and he'll have that 5-point week. Swift, I think, is more consistent. Hubbard, right now he's fighting Jonathan Brooks. We'll see what else. Not my favorite guy, but technically the starter. So I think that's fine. Excuse me. Rashard White and Aaron Jones and Kamara, I think, are all undervalued for their potential roles right now. So this is one of those where not just Henderson's boom bust nature, but if Jonathan Brooks just overtakes Chuba Hubbard, you have some other shots here on guys who can overperform, and that's how you balance out a guy like Hubbard, who right now on paper is a starter, but maybe when we get to July it's Jonathan Brooks. But when we get to July, it could be Aaron Jones starting. It could be Alvin Kamara not starting, but having, in July, if Alvin Kamara is the clear 3rd down back, he's going to 140, so that's how I feel like. And Najee Harris, wherever he signs come July, he's probably going way higher. So I like how you balance that overall, getting guys who can overperform their ADPs kind of throughout. Puka, Marv, Michael Pittman, Casey Concepcion, so 4 in the top 100, Worthy right behind it. And then Debo, as I mentioned before, is just such a good value. Trey Tucker and Ian Menor, 2 younger receivers, could be the 2, the 3 on their teams. And their offenses who should be ascending. So I think that's fine. Double tight end makes a ton of sense with McBride and Kincaid, and can be a very strong tight end room. And of course, Kincaid with Josh Allen as well, and McBride with Jacoby. So, a little bit more risk at the quarterback position. When you get to the postseason, you might be a 1 quarterback team. But if you got to ride with somebody, Josh Allen is okay to ride with. And I think your receivers and tight ends are exceedingly strong. So, as long as they're covering the flex more, you're definitely going to be okay at running back at that point. And then finally, we got JT in here. Darnold, Geno, Aaron Rodgers. I'd mentioned before, kind of weighted at quarterback. Got some value at Darnold. So, he pulled up Aaron Rodgers. But I think for weighting at quarterback, you got 3 starters. And Geno might have a little bench risk. I don't think Aaron Rodgers has any bench risk. And Sam Darnold definitely does not. Ramondre, J.K. Dobbins, Kenneth Gainwell, Chris Rodriguez, Keaton Mitchell, and Phil Maffa. I think Ramondre is one of the better values out there. He outperformed Hendo last year and goes, 30 picks later. And it's fine if you say Hendo is the better pick from the spike week upside. It's just, I don't think there should be that big of a gap between them. Dobbins, kind of the same, like him versus Harvey. I don't think there should be that big of a gap. So I think both these guys can really return value. Kenneth Gainwell, Chris Rodriguez, whether they're the number 2 or specific role like Gainwell, the passing back, Rodriguez like the goal line back. I think can return value in that range. I'm not the biggest Mitchell fan, but I get why some are in on him. Going to Harbaugh, and they did pay him a decent bit of money. And Phil Maffa, as I said in the last draft, I think the Dallas number 2 job is just wide open right now. So we'll see who gets it. Finally, the receiver room of JSN, Garrett Wilson, Jameson Williams, Christian Watson, DK Metcalf, Romeo Doubs. So 6 in the top 100. I think that's a very, very strong wide receiver room, led by JSN, Romeo Doubs, rounding out that top 6. Yeah, that feels very strong. Tacked on multiple Seattle guys, so really have Seattle stacked up in Chris Bell in there as well. Only need 2 tight ends with Brock and AJ Barner. I think that's fine. Have a big Seattle swing here with Darnold, Gino with Garrett Wilson, Rodgers with was it Metcalf? Yeah. The only thing I'd say is I don't know if you need nine receivers when your top 6 are those, and I get 2 of them are Seattle. But I maybe would have thrown another running back at it, just since you started with Ramondre. But I like Chris Bell as like a second half closer. He's coming off the ACL, probably isn't doing, probably starts the year on pup, but maybe second half of the year you get something out of him. It's just, I don't know if you'll ever need him with those top 6. I think that's a very, very strong wide receiver room. Overall, really good team. Quarterback doesn't have like the big upside play, of course. So you're not going to, dominate at the quarterback position, but I think those are 3, solid functional quarterbacks. Darnold could be anywhere from quarterback, 10 best case scenario to 18. Gino and Rodgers kind of at a lower tier, but they can cobble together enough to, be one of the top 3 teams for sure. So anyways, thank you all for being in here, for drafting with me. I'm going to get out of here. I'll catch up on chat. Can confirm I'm a different human. Meg and I will be back. I think even with it being the holiday, I think we're still planning on doing Sunday night football. So I know for some people you might need to watch it later. Could be entertaining though, any which way. Mike's saying we're down to 13 needed for 1K. Tell your Discords and buddies to subscribe and get 24 hours straight of drafting in May sometime. Do it for the youth of America. Do it for the dogs. How much peanut butter will Rudy have in May in the 24-hour stream? Leave some quarterbacks for the rest of us. Central Texas, Austin, or Dallas? Sorry, missed this comment. We need 5 more people to fill war room. Sorry, Tex. We just finished 2, and I'm now maxed out in my war rooms. Don't like the squad. Hendo's young legs better carry this AARP running back room late. But some of that's okay. Like mixing some old with young, actually I think can be kind of the way to go. So sounds like you got it filled. That's good. I'm glad the War Room Streets is still out there. I'm now done for War Room 2. Maybe they'll launch War Room 3. We'll have to see. We got Emo checking in. Good to see you, Emo. Good to see you last night checking in during the Toxic Tower stream. Hope you are doing well. Thanks for review. Most notable thing with my first draft pick back is I hate the end of the draft running backs. Yeah, there's just far less value. The guys, whether it's like some rookies got pushed down, but others got pulled up, and then all those guys who were going late. I think there's a few. Kamara probably being the most notable one, who just feels like if Kamara plays this year, there's no way he should be going in the 180s, 190s. Just no way. Yes, the outcome like last year, like Eckler gets hurt week 2, then you'd want him in the 180s, 190s. But if he plays and he's healthy, he's going to outproduce that. There's one or two other handcuffs, but it's just thinner right now. Those late upside running backs drive much faster now. Yeah, because even like Brian Robinson's moved up a bunch. few of the other like signings for sure. Good to see you, Fantasy Dog. Appreciate you being in here. Phil Moff, a starter for Clemson, consensus steal the draft, played 1 game, scored 10 points. No, I mean, I think it's totally up in the air. Like, I'm not the biggest Jane Blue fan. He also played, essentially he played more than 1 game, but he started 1 game and had a decent game. But yeah, I'm not a big fan of Jane Blue. I think it's between him, Malik Davis, Jane Blue, and I think the Cowboys draft somebody. Maybe as asked earlier, I think it was Peanut who asked, could they be a team on day 2? Maybe, but they're missing their 3rd round pick, so probably not. But I think, could they draft somebody on day 3? Sure. And yeah, Moffa maybe becomes a goal line back. That would be his outcome, and that it's like a poor man Sean Tucker, So I think that's so I don't disagree. I just don't know what to do with the Dallas number 2 back right now. I haven't really taken anyone, but there probably is an answer out there. And I think when we get to BBM season, I will need to kind of get some exposure to these guys. And I just kind of wanted to wait to the draft just in case they do get somebody. So no, I'm not knocking it. I think whoever, and this is honestly like Chicago last year. Now it was a draft pick, but everyone said it was Roshan. Everyone said it's Roshan. Well, it ended up being Kalmanan. That was the guy you needed. That's the guy you wanted. So yeah, I definitely think it could pay off. I just think it's totally up in the air right now. But yeah, it takes some 20th round conviction stands for sure. That's what I do. I typically do a more receiver, just because I'm kind of with Legion. I want to get my backs a little earlier. Anyways, thank you guys so much for drafting, for liking this episode. And like Mike Robb said, if you could sub, we're so close to 1,000. I appreciate everyone in here. We'll be back Sunday night. I'll also have a tape show this weekend for our YouTube members. And then I'll be back next week. We'll see how much longer we have the big board and what else they might have. Hope everyone has a great rest of the day and a great weekend, and I will catch you next time.